Success Nation, good morning. It's Corey here, Saturday morning, giving you some of my Saturday morning knowledge, if you will. Hey, last time I talked to you about credit cards and how to boost your credit score by getting 5 to 7 credit cards to be able to boost your credit score up. And with that, I wanted to follow up with something I think is even more primary, which is to understand the actual value of your credit. Unfortunately, so many people come to me all the time and they ask me like, what's my financial strategies? Like, where do you start? How do you start building your financial success? And one of the things that I see people overlook time and time again is the value of their credit. Look, I know it's really easy to think that your credit isn't very valuable, and I hear all these people saying like, oh, I want to be cash only, and come on. That's not the world we live in. That's not capitalism. That's not how this economy is set up. This economy is set up on credit, okay? And guess what? All the really rich people, they know this. They know that credit is king. It's not cash, okay? Cash comes and goes. Cash is an instrument. The true value of the economy and the true value of your personal economy is going to be in what we call leverageability, okay? What's your ability to leverage? Now, leverage means what can I borrow against? Where are my lending sources? How can I bridge fund monies, for businesses, for personal finances? A mortgage obviously is a very basic one that most of you are familiar with. You're leveraging the home for a mortgage to be able to buy the home and actually live in the house now, even though you haven't paid for it yet, okay? That's the power of leverage. So I kind of get a chuckle when people tell me like, oh, I'm cash only, but then obviously they want to buy a home and they want to leverage some money. So understanding the value of your credit is extremely important, okay? You cannot undervalue your credit. And so many times, I see people ruining their credit over the most ridiculous things. I mean, we're talking $500, $1,000, $1,500. They didn't pay a $1,500 bill. They didn't pay a $1,200 medical bill. They didn't pay their landlord their last apartment, $1,200, $1,000, whatever it is. Okay, they ruin their credit over such small amounts of money, and this has such a lasting impact on you. And anyone that has bad credit, okay, you know what I'm talking about firsthand. Okay, obviously how difficult it is to get loans, to get cars, to get apartments, to obviously buy a house, forget about it, right? To get jobs even these days. A lot of employers are checking credit in order to be able to qualify hirings. Your insurance premiums obviously have a lot to do with your credit. When you go to get insurance on your car, the first thing that company does is pull up your credit and look and see what kind of credit score you got. That's going to tell them how responsible you are. And if you're ruining your credit over a $1,200 bill that you didn't pay, okay, obviously you're not very responsible. So what are they going to do? They're going to jack your insurance premiums way up. Okay, so you have to know these things. These are very fundamental, but obviously people don't know. And again, it's not your fault necessarily. School never taught you this. And a lot of people's parents just didn't know either. So they didn't get the knowledge there either. So I want to pass this along to you guys. I hope it's valuable. I hope it helps you out a lot. And so now let's get back to talking about the credit, okay? So you have to value it properly. Now, people ruining it over $1,200, $1,500, obviously that's not valuing it at all. You think it's not even worth $1,500. You're gonna ruin your credit over not paying a $1,500 bill, which means to you, you don't think that your credit is worth more than $1,500. Of course it is. If we were to calculate it out for the average person, and again, this varies. I mean, if you're obviously a business person and if you're obviously a high income earner, which I want all of you to eventually be, you have to make sure that you value your credit appropriately. Now, just for the average American, just for the average, person making $35,000 a year, $40,000 a year with a family, your credit is worth at least $100,000. So anything less than $100,000, you are literally rooting $100,000 of the value for a $1,200 bill you didn't pay, or a $3,000 bill that you didn't pay. I see people ruin their credit literally over $3,000. Now, when you ruin your credit over such a small amount of money, you have set yourself up not for financial success, but for financial failure, okay? You can't do that. You cannot set yourself up with bad credit and then think that you're gonna go out into that world, okay, this cold-blooded, cold world that we all have to go into every day that cares for no one, right? And think that you're going to be setting yourself up for success. You're not. You're setting yourself up for failure. And as such, when you go out there with bad credit, again, I give you the insurance premium example, but you're not going to be able to get a good car, you're not going to be able to get a good job, you're not going to be able to get a home, apartment buildings. Obviously, when you go to get a stable place to live, they're going to pull your credit and see you didn't pay some $1,200 bill. Okay, all these things. Now you have a bigger deposit. All right, the financial ramifications of having bad credit go through every aspect of your life, whether you think so or not. And again, this whole I'm cash only and I'm not going to worry about credit, okay, is nonsense. Rich people and successful people value their credit. Some people value it a lot. I'll tell you personally, I value my credit at least $1 million because I already know that if I don't have great credit, I'm going to cost myself millions of dollars. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, millions. Okay, so I value my credit at least to $1 million. So anything below $1 million, I'm going to make sure is taken care of. I'm not going to ruin my credit over $1 million. So again, to ruin your credit over $3,000, that's insane. Okay, people, my Success Nation, you got to stop doing it. Okay, you got to make sure that you maintain your credit. Number one, build it with the credit cards, and then number two, make sure that you don't ruin it. Okay. Now, in my next session, I'm going to give you some tips in the next video on how to deal with things when they do come up, right? Because they come up, things come up. You know, you have a bill you didn't anticipate. You have a situation, you know, maybe you got screwed by some roommates on an apartment. I've had, you know, people that I've coached with that same situation, that roommates leave and then they get stuck with the bill. Hey, I get it. There's things that happen, but there's ways to handle it, smart ways to go about it, where you can deal with the situation and then not ruin your credit so that you can continue on being successful. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about what to do when you do have one of these $1,200 unexpected bills, when you do have a $15 unexpected bill. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my page. I'm going to give you millions of dollars worth of advice for absolutely free. Look, the world's been very good to me. I've made lots and lots of money. I've started and sold and made millions of dollars in multiple companies. I've coached some of the most powerful and highest paid CEOs and CFOs at all the publicly traded companies for over 20 years. I know a thing or two about money. I know a thing or two about credit, and I'm going to help you with that because no one else is. So I'm going to be the one that steps up and make sure that you guys have the knowledge to be successful. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. You're following me and showing some love is much appreciated. I can't say that enough. Go Success Nation.